I'm Warren Karlenzig with Common Current, based in the Bay Area of California. We work with public-private partnerships globally on urban sustainability strategy, metrics, and performance, and currently working with the United Nations on its Shanghai Manual for Sustainable Cities. Well, the so-called Shanghai Training Manual for Sustainable Cities is an outgrowth of the Shanghai 2010 Expo, and the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs is sponsoring it. I'm a co-author, and we're looking at providing a playbook for mayors. How do mayors of megacities in China and beyond look at the most pressing issues: economic development, waste, pollution, transportation, energy use, water use, and how do they go about developing overarching plans for their megacities in sensible ways? How do they come up with management roles? How do they come up with measures? How do they come up with the best practices, management practices from around the globe, either in developed or developing countries, so that they can implement these plans in a way that's practical to the needs of their city and their situation? And so we think the Shanghai Manual will address many of these needs. Well, the main issue is looking at not only upfront capital costs for green building or infrastructure or energy systems, but look at operating costs. How much are these systems going to cost people or governments or businesses as energy prices increase? As we're seeing today, oil is hitting some highs that it hasn't reached since 2008. So this will have a large impact down the road as to payback on systems. And the rising energy prices will also provide a lot of opportunities for new forms of financing, new technologies, and new public-private partnerships between government and industry, and implementing and managing these technologies and getting a payback and making them cost-effective. In some instances, greenfield development might make sense, but in most instances, I think that brownfield development or development on existing developed land, which can be brownfield or grayfield, or however you want to categorize it, might make more sense because there's infrastructure there already. There are roads, there are rail connections, and there's a lot of what is called embodied energy, and that refers to the full cycle accounting that I mentioned earlier as being a way of looking at costs, not only upfront costs, but what are the costs down the line? How much actually did it take in terms of carbon to dig tunnels or to build roadways and to pour concrete and bring in materials for new structures? Some studies are showing that could be as much as a third of the energy required for cities. So that's an important thing for Chinese cities to consider when looking at either doing complete new development or redeveloping existing areas. I think amongst all the urban experts that I communicate with and meet with, there's an extreme sense of urgency, especially in China, where now latest estimates are that about 700 million people will be added to the cities of China by 2050 or so. India estimates are that 900 million will be added to India by that date, potentially, or will increase in natural population growth. So people do the numbers around that and see, yes, there is great cause for concern, especially with the potential increase in climate change greenhouse gases, which are expected to more than double in Asian cities over the next 10 years. However, with these sort of changes, there are great opportunities. The estimate is that there will be $350 trillion in investments for new buildings and infrastructure in nations, 90% of it occurring in developing nations over the next 40 years or so. So that is a significant amount of opportunity for doing things a new way, doing new cost accounting, and doing management and supervision of the building of cities and the investment in cities and technology and people and projects like it has never been done before. I think China already is pushing cities to be more sustainable. Cities like Baoding, China, they've added 20,000 jobs in the clean technology sector in the past 3 years, and it's a city of only 1 million. And they're coming up with new ways of not only creating green technologies or clean tech, but also implementing them. They have a building integrated solar that's really innovative in terms of large-scale buildings and even little windmills and solar cells for streetlights and those types of things are what the United States and Europe and a lot of the world is looking to in terms of, yes, this can be done, but how cost-effective is it, and how can it be done at scale? So I think China is providing some of those answers already, and in concert with the United States, European Union, other countries, and innovative areas around the world, there will be much more coming out of the cities of China that the world will be copying in some cases, or at least monitoring very closely and adapting for their own purposes.